Welcome back to the Engine Oil Direct Touring Car Championship here on BSRTV. This is round 26 from Silverstone National, and I am joined once again by Adam Bath. Evening, Adam.
Yes, good evening, Chris. A pretty straightforward affair in the first race, but now with the top 10 reverse grid, let's see if the action gets a bit more crazy.
Well, we saw Andreas Katz demoted from 5th place in qualifying all the way to the back of the grid after last session's penalties. He's going to go to the back of the grid again, but it won't matter because he finished last in the last race, having not managed to complete a lap, unfortunately, after some early contact. He's got two back of the grids to deal with, but the third race should be a little bit better for him, depending on how he finishes in this race. So he's got to come through 32 car grid to get to at least 20th place to be in with a chance of that reverse top 20 for the final session. That one should be interesting. Do you think he can do it?
I think he's in with a shot. Usually in race 2 we do see a bit of action, and therefore I think with all of that happening on the first few laps, and I'm sure Andreas Katz is a good overtaker, we'll see him inside the top 20 before the end of the race.
It's just got to keep it out of trouble in that Karcher machine. The top 10 reverse grid pole is going to Julian Janovsky. Linus Brustrom will join him on the front row of the grid. A good finisher, Russell Laidler, who thought that he was a bit outclassed there at the top, but came home in 8th place after getting up to 5th from 6th place on the grid. So doing pretty well for CQR. Martin Johnson not having so much luck. He's disqualified from the first race there, unfortunately. And Andrew Whitehead, the other CQR driver, he came home in 20th place, so if he can maintain that 20th, he'll be on pole for the final race. Always gets interesting towards the end of the evening. See more overtaking, more, well, people out of normal position, which makes the racing more interesting. Lopez starting 10th. Where can he get to in round 26?
I wouldn't count him out of a victory, Chris. Of course, the slipstream does play a massive factor here at Silverstone. With the track like filtering into Maggots and Beckett's, I wouldn't be surprised if he somehow gets involved in a bit of contact. So let's see what happens in those first few corners.
Well, it's worth pointing out, isn't it, that it's so important to finish every single race and get some points on the board, even if you're not winning them, because you're going to lose out on effectively 100 points on your rivals if you finish outside, if you crash out and don't get any points at all. So that's a huge problem, well, a potential problem for some of these drivers. And Jamie Rushworth, you can have a look at the standings now, is 163 points down on Lopez. If Lopez fails to finish and Jamie Rushworth gets the full 100 points, that's going to be 63, and that's a completely different ballgame.
Yeah, but the chances of that happening are pretty unlikely. Adeko Lopez is a class-act driver after all, won previous series before joining this one, so a non-score by Adeko Lopez would be completely rare.
I think you're right. So that's the top 10 after 25 races. Thanks to Jeroen Kaiser for updating the scores so quickly between the races. That enables us to give you this information as it stands right now. Chepelevsky, who's dropped out of the championship this season, unfortunately, is going to be dropping out of the top 10 fairly soon, but it does give some other drivers a chance to get right up there. No Adam Terry this evening. That's interesting as well. He is going to be, well, losing points to the competition, but his championship hopes are unfortunately cut short quite soon after the championship started, really. He's doing well in 7th place, but he's not really a championship contender at this point, lacking 778 points there, Adam.
Yeah, the midpoint of the season he started to get involved in quite a few crashes, some of his own doing, so that put him down the order pretty quickly, and he's not here this evening sadly, so he's going to drop further down the order.
Well, big thanks also to our main sponsor for the Touring Car Championship, EngineOilDirect.co.uk, for all your engine oil needs, and for all our sponsorship needs too, apparently, so thanks very much to those guys. And a big thanks as well to Stelian Chepelevsky, who has withdrawn from the championship in virtual racing, but was out in his Ford Fiesta, in the real world of racing, running the BSRTV sponsorship on his actual real-life Ford Fiesta, which is absolutely brilliant to see. Pictures are all over Facebook, which is absolutely fantastic. So yeah, thanks to Mr. Chepelevsky for doing that for us. And give us a subscribe if you're watching and you haven't subscribed yet. It's the biggest way of supporting the channel, and you can have a little email delivered every time there's a new video for you to watch. So even if you're not here watching live, you can still watch all the action So 3 sessions a week at the moment. The Skip Barber on Mondays, the GT Sprint Cup on Tuesdays, and this, the main feature, if you like, the Engine Oil Direct Touring Car Championship on Thursdays. We are about 3 minutes away from this grid, which is going to be absolutely riveting, I've got to say. We saw a little bit of traffic come into play in the last race towards the end. It didn't slow Lopez down, it didn't slow any of the leaders down really, but it could be more of an issue towards the end of the evening. Adam, what do you think?
Yeah, I think it could be a bit of an issue with the slower cars, you could say, at the front of the field. Of course, we do see Janowski, Bostrom, Rushworth's teammate, Layla, Simon Field in the Engine Oil Direct car. They could be holding up this field at the start of the race. However, with the slipstream playing as big as a part of it is at Silverstone, we could see these lot disappearing off to the distance. We just don't know.
Well, with a 4-5-6 finish from Chrome Restart in the last race, that puts them 3 more drivers in the top 10. Can anyone really mount a challenge, or is it just going to be a Chrome Restart whitewash at the top of the team championship?
Well, at Interlagos we saw the Chrome Restart cars battling at the front, but they somehow managed to get into each other a few laps into the race, which allowed the Deco Lopez to take the lead. So, don't think teammates will be having. Let's not count out teammates battling for the lead.
We'll have to see how that one unfolds, and after this meet this evening there's going to be 2 more meets in the subsequent weeks, and they're going to be Bathurst and Brands Hatch, the traditional finish to the season. We're actually quite low on numbers in this particular race. When I say low, it's still 31 car grid, still a huge grid, but we were towards the 40s towards the start of the season. As long as there's fewer than 41 cars or fewer, that's the maximum allowed at Brands Hatch, then everyone will make it to the grid, which it looks like it will be that way. Now, another name to mention here is Dan Craft. We've seen some great potential from Dan Craft, but it just doesn't seem to materialise into race results, Adam.
No, I remember him having a good race meeting at Interlagos last time out. However, this time had a bit of a problem at the start. He was in around the midfield at the start, but managed to drop down the order and finished in 25th place. However, he's only 5 places outside that top 20 reverse grid for the final race. Let's see if he can get up there and mount a challenge.
And the other name that I wanted to mention as well was Richard Wilde, who qualified 9th. He then ended up finishing in 22nd position, and Richard Wilde, he was 3rd in the championship last season, and we just don't seem to talk about Richard Wilde that much anymore because he's just not one of the front runners, and I just wonder if he could possibly, you know, turn his game around and really challenge at the front, or whether he's got the qualifying pace. It just seems to lack in the race department, Adam.
Yes, I think he might have actually started at the front of the grid in one of the top 20 reverse grids earlier in the season. So he is a proved quantity in the championship. It is a shame that he is down the order. Hopefully he could use the top 20 to his potential this time, as the warm-up session's finished and we are going down to the grid.
Excellent. So Julian Janowski will head away the field for round 26. Stelian Chopolewski there in the YouTube comments saying 2nd place, 3rd and 5th overall for his BSRTC Fiesta. We are cool, he says with a smiley face. So yeah, absolutely, very cool to be running our logo on your Fiesta, especially doing so well. So congratulations to him for some great results there. We've seen some good pictures on Facebook, including a semi-demolished tyre barrier. So I hope the Fiesta survived that one. Anyway, back to the Kia Optimas in the Engine Oil Direct Touring Car Championship. That's Russell Layla in the yellow car, just behind the leader there, Janowski. Brostrom will start for Movie Go on the front row of the grid. Can Janowski hold this one into turn 1?
I think he should be able to. Simon Field, though, is the person I'm looking out for. He started 16th on the grid in race 1 and managed to get up into 7th place in race 1, which puts him 4th for race 2. Let's see if we can get that inside line, or probably hang it out around the outside into the first corner as we're getting ready for the start of the race.
Here come the lights then for round 26 at the Engine Oil Direct Touring Car Championship from the Silverstone National Circuit. We've got green, so Janowski will lead the field away. Gets away pretty well. Looks like the Chrome Restarts are on an early charge though. They need to keep out of each other's way on the way down into turn 1. Can everybody get through Copse for the first time successfully? We almost saw it last time. Already a challenge there from Brostrom, looking to get... Oh, we've lost a DMR car. Spinning out. just about keeps it under control. Down into Magus and Beckers for the first time. Brustrom has the lead. Janowski's lost it already. Russell Laidler.
Rushworth is off. He's off with one of the Chrome restart cars. Dreadful start for Jamie Rushworth. He has got sustained damage to his Movie-Go car. He is now down in 29th place. Terrible start for the second place.
That's David Baker. That is David Baker just behind him. So what has happened? Let's cut away from the front for a moment to bring you a replay of that. What on earth happened with Jamie Rushworth? Gets very wide at Copse. Rushworth, you can see him in the background there. He's side by side with David Baker. And now watch this just coming into Maggots here. Baker slides the car. That's the problem. Baker slides out in front of Rushworth, and Rushworth has got nowhere to go. Both heavily on the brakes there, and it's a nasty impact into the concrete as well. Rushworth's still going, but he's down in 29th, Adam. It could be all over for the championship.
Yes, and while we were looking at that, Julian Janowski takes the lead. And yes, you're right, Jamie Rushworth, it looks like this is a major dent to his championship as we nearly go 4 abreast as we head down the straight down into Magus and Beckett's. Linus Bostrom has had to drop back a bit and he is now languishing down in 5th place. Up to 2nd place goes the Chrome restart car of Jerome Kaiser. 3rd place is Russell Laidler on my timing screens at the moment as they're going 2 by 2 down the Wellington straight here on lap number 2.
Wow, this is incredible to watch. Simon Field right behind Russell Laidler. He's going to have to back off before the braking zone. 4 cars all the way down into Priory there, and they're all stacking up behind, aren't they? Absolutely great. Oh, Simon Field's been turned around by Kaiser, who hits the brakes. Brostrom's going to turn him around now.
Savidovic involved. Wojciech Savidovic is involved as well.
Oh, a huge incident right at the back there, about the back of that pack at least. Loads of cars, but everyone seems to get turned around okay. Well, everyone seems to have survived, so nobody facing the wrong way after that. And that all started because Kaiser got into the back. He got into the back there of Simon Field and turned him round. Simon Field gets back up the road and, well, I'm surprised everybody survived, but that's promoted Ben Gregory up to 7th place. Peter Van Gool is running in 8th.
Unbelievable, and I'll tell you, some person that's involved in this race, in that carnage, was Ade Coba Lopez. He sustained a bit of damage to his car. He's now down in 16th place. It's all going wrong for the championship contenders.
Well, Rushworth down in 28th now. Lopez 16th.
Savidovic 24th.
Oh, Richard Wiles got a problem. No, I think it's just maybe a temporary connection problem for Richard Weil. Anyway, Steve Richardson taking that one nice and wide to let his teammate through. Up to 15th there. Oh, more contact up in front. That's Robert Graham and Andrew Whitehead duking it out. Lopez should have no trouble getting around these cars if they're going to drive like that. Lopez versus Laura Bond. I don't think Bond's going to put up too much of a fight, knowing she's got the championship leader behind her. On board now with Lopez coming over the line for lap 4 into Copse. Takes the inside line. Well, she's putting up a fight here. Lopez will have the inside line down into Maggots. And there's 3 eBay Motors cars on your screen there. That's Wild, Richardson and Lopez. No, Laura Bond doesn't put up a fight. So 14th place for Lopez. He's working his way back up the field. Doesn't look to have hurt him too much. But Janowski has been handed this race lead.
Yes, you're right, and Russell Laidler somehow has managed to come through all that carnage and has managed to be back into 2nd place with Simon Field 4th. Steve Hefford is now in 4th, and Stefan Hoog rounds out the top 5. He's probably one of the only people that finished high up race 1 that's actually still in a pretty good position.
Well, Steve Hefford holding on to 4th place here. Great effort from him. The Engine Oil Direct boys are in 3rd and 4th at the moment. So 1 podium spot. CQR Laidler is 2nd. The moment. Whitehead in 12th place. Martin Johnson, having start right near the back, is up to 21st. So it's got a lot more exciting all of a sudden than it always does with this reverse grid. Steve Hefford's going to be coming under pressure pretty soon from Stefan Hoog. Just an update on David Baker as well. He's all the way down in 25th after that mistake that cost him and Jamie Rushworth a load of positions there. Oh, and Plumley's turned around. Plumley, who still hasn't got the DMR Hydrographics paint on his car, unfortunately. He is in the DM Racing team, but not sure why he's facing the wrong way, but he gets it going again, 25th. A lot of action going on the circuit. It's kind of hard to keep up with.
Ade Coba Lopez has managed to get past the KX Club Cars car of, who I believe is Robert Graham. He's now up into 13th place, and now he's desperate to get past the CQR car in 12th place of Andrew Whitehead. We head down the front straight into Copse once again, but here comes the KX Club car trying to go around the outside. Obviously that's not going to work, but Lopez, he's got a superior grip. He's got a superior line as we head down the straight into Maggots and Beckett's. He should have the inside line. No, he backs out of it. He's being conservative. Either that or the CQR's going to go very wide. Yes, he does.
Oh dear.
Lopez goes down the inside, 12th place is his.
It must be quite a lot of pressure to have the championship leader right behind you in your mirrors like that. And Whitehead just a little bit late on the brakes, and Lopez takes the position pretty easily in the end, up to 12th now. He's now chasing Scott Malcolm, who's holding on to 11th place. Currently Rob Burton is the 20th place man, so the DMR Hydrographics driver will be taking the pole position if things stay like that, but Savidovic is yet to come through the field. He's up to 22nd, you can see him just there, and he's right behind David Baker as well, so both of those guys will be looking to make it past Rob Burton as soon as possible. Hoog, though, looks to take 4th away from Hefford, and you've got to say Hoog's probably the faster driver on paper.
Yes, here he goes. He looks to the inside, and blimey, the Engine All Direct car of Steve Hefford slams us all in the face of Stefan Hoog as we head through Beckett out onto the Wellington Straight. The Chrome Restart car, I think, has got a better exit than the Engine All Direct car as we head down the Wellington Straight once again. Steve Hefford goes pretty defensive. He's going to defend the inside line. Will Stefan Hoog cut to the inside? No, he doesn't. He's going to swing it around the outside. Will it work? He's late on the brakes, but I think Steve Hefford's going to have the inside line. Stefan Hoog, has he got an overlap? I think he has. He's going to... Yes, I think he has got it into Luffield. He's got the inside line. He's got the advantage. I think Steve Hefford's going to have to give this 4th place up. Stefan Hoog is now up into 4th place.
Wow, great overtake from Hoog. It took him a while, but he's got round Steve Hefford. Hefford's not done yet though, look at him go, he's just looking around to make a move into Copse now. And that's the issue with Priory, isn't it? Keeping the inside line into Priory before you hit Luffield. You've got to get enough distance ahead of your opponent to be able to cut down to the inside at Luffield, and Hefford made the right decision in the end, didn't have the gap that he needed, which meant that Hoog was able to get down his inside into Luffield, take the shorter line, and it's now given him that 2 or 3 car lengths advantage that will probably enable him to hold on to 4th place here.
Julian Janowski's advantage has been wiped out at the front now as down the inside goes Simon Fields. He's now battling with Rusty Laidler as we head into Luffield once again. They're side by side, the Engine All Direct and the CQR car. I was just about to say that these two were closing on Julian Janowski, but just as I said that, they've now given away half a second to the Iwasa driver.
Well, the Iwasa driver is going to drive off into the distance. It's going to be a very good win for Iwasa, who've lost their top driver this season, if he can hold on to it. And while these two guys are scrapping it out, Simon Field and Russell Laidler, they're going to be handing this lead to Janowski. We've seen it time and time again when these guys get together and make a few overtakes like this, it's just gifting time to the leader. Although I say that, Janowski doesn't look that quick at the moment.
Yes, even though Russell Laidler and Simon Field were battling, they were still lapped 2/10 of a second. Actually, sorry, that's the fastest laps of the time. The previous laps, Janowski was 2/10 of a second quicker. However, Russell Laidler and Simon Field were battling. However, the fastest laps, Julian Janowski's lap time, 59.368, was 2/10 of a second slower than Russell Laidler's fastest lap time of a 59.159.
Well, I can tell you now that Lopez is up to 11th place, but he's got 2.3 seconds to get into the top 10. And it's going to be very difficult for him to keep that position, or get even higher, because he's got some pretty fast drivers. But Andreas Katz, starting from the back of the grid, Adam, is up to 13th.
Yes, that I said at the beginning, it's going to be pretty frantic the first few laps, and now Andreas Katz up into 13th place. He's pretty solid inside that top 20, as I think we need to go to the front of the pack again, as Russell Laidler is now 2/10 of a second behind Julian Janowski. He gets a good run out of Beckett down the Wellington Straight. The CQR car looking for the lead here. Russell Laidler has already won a race this season. He won the final race of the evening at Indianapolis, and he's going for the inside line once again. Down the inside into Priory. Julian Janowski does not put up much of a fight, and Janowski better watch out here, because Simon Field might have ideas about snatching that second place. In fact, he does. Down the inside into... Oh, blimey, Janowski gives Russell Laidler a bit of a love tap going through Luffield, and out of the final corner onto Woodcote and onto the front straight once again. Our new race leader is the CQR car, Russell Laidler.
I like that. The new race leader is Russell Laidler. Brilliant. Absolutely brilliant. And blimey indeed, Janowski almost came to blows with Laidler just through Luffield, as we saw on the cameras there. We're on board now with Simon Field, and you can see how little difference there is Simon Field just having to back out on the straight a bit to avoid running into the back of Janowski. Laidler might well now have the opportunity to dash away with this one if Field and Janowski come to blows at all.
Yeah, Simon Field knows, I think he's just as quick as Russell Laidler, so he wants to do away with Julian Janowski as quick as he can. He's in the slipstream as we head down the Wellington straight. 12 laps to go here at Silverstone, and it looks like it's going to be pretty straightforward. Janowski closes the door. Oh my goodness, the two hit each other through Priory. They're still side by side. And once again, Janowski should have the inside line into Luffield. Can Simon Field hang out around the outside? No, he can't. He's going to have to drop back down to third place, but I think that was pretty naughty by Julian Janowski there.
Just not enough room given, was there? Janowski could have held on to the outside line there and probably got the inside at Luffield, but it's remarkable that those two didn't cause more damage to each other there as we came into Priory, but no harm done, except for giving Russell Laidler a 1 second lead now. We're about halfway through the second race, and if they don't sort it out pretty soon, they're either going to be off into the barriers or Laidler's going to be off into the sunset.
Yeah, Janowski's being very defensive. He nearly shoves Simon Field onto the grass there on the exit of Copse. And once again, these two are at it as we head down the Wellington straight. Once again, Simon Field gets back into the slipstream of Julian Janowski, the Yuasa card. Simon Field sells him the dummy. He went to the outside, down the inside, and I think he might be too late on the brakes. Janowski spins him out. Oh my goodness. Simon Field is now in the gravel trap, misses the tyre barrier, but that's now ruined his chances of a race 2 win.
Well, we saw it last lap as well. Janowski just doesn't give enough room at Priory, and got a feel there like that's all on Janowski, surely. Let's have another look at that one from the overhead camera here. Field sold the dummy down the inside. They're about equal on the brakes. Field perhaps a bit later, and Janowski's turn in is too soon. He's got to be aware, hasn't he, that Simon Field's coming down the inside there.
Yes, I wonder if we'll see a penalty coming Julian Janowski's way. Either way, he now holds on to his second place, and it's a 2.6 second gap back to our third place driver, Stefan Hug.
I've got a feeling that gap might well be coming down, but Simon Field has got to be absolutely fuming with that one. He's looking to bring engine oil direct home in second place for a really good result for the new team, and he's now down in 6th. So a lot of work to do to get back up to that top spot. Hefford, meanwhile, holding on to 4th, back up to 4th after being demoted to 5th by that man Simon Field and Stefan Hug as well. And, well, Hug's got some work to do, hasn't he? But he's got another 9 laps to do it, another 9 minutes of racing. Can he catch up 2.7 seconds to Janowski?
Yes, I think he should be able to. The lap times at the moment, they lapped pretty much the same times the last time round. However, overall, Stefan Hug is the quicker driver. Just an update for you on our championship leader, Adekova Lopez. He is currently in 9th position, having a battle with the Chrome restart car of Ben Gregory, and I think he's eager to get past him as we head into Maggots and Beckett.
Well, good line from Lopez around the outside there. He needs a good exit here to clear Gregory. I think he's probably got it here. And just kind of breezes through on the outside, really. I mean, he didn't even need the inside line to take that position. Gregory's not done yet, though. Well, he's taken the championship leader all the way through Priory, all the way to Luffield. And surely Lopez has got that position secure now.
Yes, he is, and he's up into 8th place. Let's have a look at the lap times then. Is Stefan Hug closing in on Julian Janowski? Last time round, Janowski does a 59.893, Stefan Hug does a 59.534. So, 0.3 of a second quicker. The gap is down to 2.2 seconds, but with 8 laps to go, is it enough for him?
It'll just be enough to bring him onto the back of Janowski at this rate, but it's unlikely to be exactly that much a lap. Lopez just let through into 7th place there by Ellis Stevens, who was running in 7th, but obviously the teammates there deciding that Lopez is more needy of the points. And that's Peter Van Gool, by the way, holding on to 10th place and now battling with Ben Gregory for 9th. Stevens has given up a little bit more time than he would have liked by letting Lopez through, and he's now under pressure from Gregory. Watch out, just got to be a little bit careful coming through Priory. And Gregory now finds himself under threat from Van Gool. Can he get around the outside, the Karcher driver? No, he won't be able to. He's going to have to drop back behind and have another go. Let Stevens escape a little bit. And another Karcher driver just behind is Andreas Katz, up to 12th place. What a drive.
Yeah, I was about to say that Peter Van Gool is flying the flag for Karsha Racing because Andreas Katz is so far back. However, Katz is now up in 12th place, firmly inside the top 20, and he could be up for a top 10 finish here because he's going to looks like he's going to go down the inside of the Movie Go-Kart of Linus Bostrom. He does. He's up into 11th place, and I wonder if Peter Van Gool might move over and let his number one driver Andreas Katz through.
I think it's quite likely. We've seen a lot of team manoeuvres so far, and it is all down to the teams. These drivers are paying a modest entry fee into this championship, and there is real prize money for the first 4 teams in the championship. Karcher desperately want to be in that team. There we go. There's the move. Cat's up to 10th, so he should be able to get past Ben Gregory, maybe even Ellis Stevens as well. One man he probably won't be overtaking this race though, Adam, is Lopez, up to 7th place.
Yes, Lopez up to 7th place. He was in 16th for 1 point after sustaining damage in that wild first 2 laps. Also, just to keep you updated on the Karsha cars, in 20th place, Nils Jordan. So Karsha have got the top 20 covered, with Nils Jordan being in pole position at the moment for that 3rd and final race.
Well, Jamie Rushworth is just behind though, so wouldn't that be rather sweet for Jamie Rushworth if he were to come home in 20th after overtaking Nils Jordan to take that pole position in the final race? He'd probably think he would deserve that after that early contact with David Baker in this race, which put them both way down the field.
Yeah, Jamie Rushworth is lapping over a second quicker than Nils Jordan. He doesn't want to get involved in more contacts. He's putting the Karsha car under pressure as we head into Maggots and Beckers. Jamie Rushworth, you do not want to end up in the barriers like you were on the very first lap, but I think he's got it done here. Out of Beckett's down the Wellington straight. I don't know whether Nils Jordan's going to make it easy for him or not. They're still side by side down the straight once again. We've got 5 laps to go. Into Priory. Is Nils Jordan going to be super defensive? No, he doesn't. I think he gets pretty early on the brakes, allows Jamie Rushworth through into that top 20 race 3 pole position spot.
Well, you're going to say some sensible driving by some of the less quick drivers to let some of the quicker drivers through, just realising who it is in their mirrors and the fact that there's really no point in putting up a stiff fight because it's just going to cause some contact if the driver behind gets frustrated. Meanwhile, Simon Field and Jeroen Kaiser are duking it out for 5th place right now. Steve Hefford, what a drive, holding on to 4th place, and he's only got 4 laps to hold on. I don't think he's going to get into the top 3 for a podium finish, but that would be, well, we were talking to him just the other week, weren't we, about a great result, and this is even better.
Yes, this is a fantastic result for Engine Oil Direct. They come into the championship Interlagos as our title sponsor and field the cars that would normally be filled by Triple Eight, and it seems to have revitalised their season. They're now up in 6th and 4th places, doing a brilliant job.
Well, Simon Field will feel very hard done by after that contact with Janowski. Janowski, I can tell you, holds on to 2nd place. He is gaining on Russell Laidler, and Hoog, with only 3 laps to go and still 2 seconds to make up, looks pretty set to remain in 3rd at the highest. I don't think he's going to get onto the back of Janowski and have a go. Yes, and
Janowski this last time round will lap 2/10 of a second quicker than Russell Laidler. I wonder if Laidler has burnt up his tyres. Don't forget, he did say he was punching above his weight. Maybe Janowski is now starting to close in on the CQR car. We've just got over 3 laps to go now as we come around to complete another lap here. It's surely going to be interesting to see what the gap is. Last time around, the gap was 0.8 of a second between the CQR car of Russell Laidler and the Yuasa car of Julian Janowski. They come round to cross the line now. Laidler crosses the line, does a time of 59.596, and Janowski does 59.358, so that's another 0.2 out of Laidler's lead, and the gap is down to 0.4 seconds. This is going to be pretty close here.
Well, it's just come a little bit too early, this discharge from Janowski, from Laidler's point of view, because he'd like there to be a lot fewer laps left. He'd like it to be the last lap right now, I can tell you. 0.4 of a second, the gap. And Janowski is closing, so from pole position to basically taking out Simon Field to now challenging for the lead once again. It's going to come down to the wire, isn't it? Janowski is not shy when it comes to overtaking, and he will want that victory for himself and for Team Yuasa. In other news as well, Savidovic is out. So Wojtek Savidovic, Mr. Consistency, has failed to finish this race, unfortunately. That's going to be a huge blow for his championship, and it's not going to help him catch up to Jamie Rushworth, who's in 19th. But you've got to say, haven't you, Adam, that when it comes to these sort of situations where some of the lead drivers get into a few incidents, it always seems to be Lopez who comes back the strongest.
Yes, it may not be a first or a second for Lopez, but it is a 7th place finish, which is a darn sight better than Jamie Rushworth's 19th, and Wojciech Savidovic, who's now down in 28th place. So Lopez, yeah, you're right, he has got the championship in his grasp at the moment, and Janowski is now 0.3 seconds behind. I don't know whether he's now getting into the dirty air of the CQR car, or Layla's maybe just starting to put the foot down, but either way, we're coming round for a pretty frantic final lap, just like it was in Interlagos, where the final gap was 7 thousandths of a second. Are we going to see that here? We're about to find out as we start the final lap of the race.
One more time, 1 minute round Silverstone. Once again, Julian Janowski is in second place, but just by a fraction of a second now through Copse. Is he going to mount a challenge into Maggots? Here's the question. CQR machine is trying to hold on in the form of Russell Laidler just in front of him now. Coming down into Maggots, he needs to get down to the inside, but Laidler's got that line covered. Nose to tail, Janowski's almost makes contact with the back of Laidler. Later on the brakes there, but it's not going to help his exit, Adam.
No, that's his exit scuppered. I don't know whether that might have given Russell Laidler the advantage he needs to win this race. I think it might have. Janowski is now 0.4 seconds behind, nearly half a second behind the CQR car. I think it's going to have to take a minor miracle now into Priory and into Luffield. I think Russell Laidler has got this race won.
Just one more corner. Can he hang on for Luffield? The answer is going to be yes. He comes out of Luffield for the final time. Russell Laidler will take the victory for Team CQR in dramatic fashion from Julian Janowski in second place. Great job for CQR, great job for Laidler. Hoog will take third, Hefford fourth, an amazing result for Steve Hefford. Your own Kaiser takes fifth, and Simon Field, after that contact with Janowski, couldn't make it beyond sixth place. So, Laidler's weaving his car all the way around the track in delight, that victory. Lopez 7th, Stevens 8th, Katz 9th from the back of the grid. You've got to say that's one of the best recovery drives we've ever seen, surely.
Yeah, what a fantastic job by Andreas Katz. We thought it was going to be Petter Van Gogh flying the flag. He's now up into 9th place, Andreas Katz. And what a great job by CQR, their third win of the season and the second race win of the season for Russell Laidler. Great drive by him.
Let's go over and have a word with the man himself. He's got to be fairly pleased with himself after that one. It came right down to the wire, Russell.
Yeah, I kind of cut that one a bit too close, but I seem to improve this setup a little bit better, and the tyres held on more than 3 laps this time.
Well, great job, absolutely great job. Did you expect to get the lead so early on?
I don't know. To be fair, no. I looked at who was there and who was around, and to be fair, I was expecting people to be coming through a lot quicker. I think when Julian and Simon Field started battling, that gave me a chance to sort of pull away, but I'm just happy I've done it again.
Well, you don't need Ash Sutton to win races with pace like that, so congratulations, great win. 20th place though for the final race. It's going to be tough to pull through that kind of field.
Yeah, this is going to be interesting. But I've done it, well, I did it at Indy, got myself up to a decent position, so this is try and keep my nose clean, keep out of trouble, and see what I can do this time.
Well, best of luck with that one. We'll let you go celebrate. Thanks, Russell.
Thank you very much, mate.
CQR take the victory in the second race of the evening, but delighted to say that Steve Hefford for Engine Oil Direct has come home in 4th place. What a finish, Steve.
Yeah, this oil's great, isn't it?
Absolutely fantastic. Keeps the engine well lubricated and the results coming in.
Certainly does.
Absolutely. Wow, that was brilliant. Absolutely really good to watch, and you even finished ahead of your Engine Oil Direct teammate Simon Field there, so you must be thrilled. What was your secret there?
To be honest, just practice and more practice.
And once Stefan Hoog managed to slip past you, is there any chance you might get back past him for that podium finish?
I thought so at one point, but he did have a bit of damage at the back, but I don't know if it was affecting his speed at all. But I did have the measure of the rest of them behind him. I could see that he was catching, so I didn't fight too hard. But yeah, it was a decent race.
It just shows what can be done with a nice, clean, well-performing car when you put your mind to it. So you put in a lot of practice in preparation for this race then?
Not in this car so much, but I've been doing a lot of practice in the Skip Barber, and I think that translates into other cars pretty well.
Well, there you have it, viewers at home. If you want to do well in iRacing. It's a shock to learn that you need to put in the time to practice. So well done, Steve. And it's going to be 15th, 16th place in the final race. So some work to do to get up the field. But where do you think you could finish?
I don't know. I started 14th in that one, so top 10. Top 10 would be nice.
Well, fingers crossed for you. Thanks for joining us.
Thanks a lot. Cheers.
That's Steve Hefford there for Engine Oil Direct. Great result, really, and some really interesting driving in that race, shall we say, Adam. Savinovic down to 29th. We thought he was out. He was pretty much out after that, unfortunately. Early contact between Rushworth and Baker. That put Rushworth down to 19th, and Baker managed to get back up to 14th. But going to be an interesting final race, put it that way.
Yeah, we got championship contenders at the front of the grid for the final race, which I don't think we've had in this season so far. So I wonder if it's going to be a Rushworth runaway win for the third race. But once again, the final race never fails to put unpredictability into the mix. So I wouldn't put all my money on a Rushworth win.
Well, round 26 of the Engine Oil Direct Touring Car Championship comes to a close with a win for CQR and Russell Layla. And we got one more race for you this evening, the Reverse Grid Top 20, and that is going to be an absolute cracker. You'd expect Lopez to be starting in 20th place. He's not. He's going to be starting even higher up than that. Katz is in the mix. Rushworth is in the mix. Who's going to win this final race? You're about to find out in about 5 minutes' time. So tune to the next video, where round 27 will be coming your way. Big thanks for watching from me, Chris Cohen, and Adam Barth in the commentary box. And we'll see you shortly.